This video is proudly sponsored by Gamersgate. Download games anytime, anywhere. Visit Gamersgate.com.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Elder Geek Game Club number 41, Minecraft. My name is Steve Wilkinson, and joining me as always is Phil Summers. Phil, how are you doing this evening?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. And back with us as always also is the editor and owner of ElderGeek.com, Randy Asenchak. How you doing, Randy?
I'm doing well tonight. I'm mixing it up. I've got both coffee with me this evening, and I don't know what YouTube's policy is on, let's call it yeast juice, but I've also got one of those sitting by. And
terrible.
But,
wait, so are you gonna slam
I
coffee,
might.
beer, coffee?
I've got a lot that I got to get done tonight, but
Two-fisting.
I want to have the yeast juice on the side, just so I can have the little bit of the loose lips and be like, you guys suck, and while talking about the show.
Right.
Much yeast juice.
Oh, and just kind of showing this off. I don't know if we'll be able to see this on the camera, but my little ditty from Magfest. Here, let me see if I can get it a little bit closer. It's my companion cube pint glass.
Nice.
Yeah.
And joining us this time, we have a very special guest, Mr. Chad Williams from the Jumpman Podcast. Chad, how you doing tonight?
What's up, everybody? Thanks so much, dudes, for bringing me on to this epic podcast.
We should have introduced it the way you did the show. We should have been like, Jumpman!
Do you want to... So, Chad's with us this time around. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your show and kind of do some pluggage?
Sure. Well, Jumpman Podcast, we're weekly video game / movie podcasts. Myself and my brother, Eric, he lives down in Virginia. I'm up here in New York City, and... We used to call each other every week and just talk about 80s movies, cartoons, anything. We just decided to start recording our calls, so it's just unedited, unfiltered, whatever the hell we feel like talking about, and a ton of Nick Cage and Steven Seagal every single goddamn week.
You guys see way more movies than I ever do. You see more movies in the theater than I watch at home, just renting them.
Well, that's the thing, and especially When you guys were all like, hey, dude, you got to get your brother into Minecraft, I was like, yo, he's just the movie guy. That's his thing. And he fell off the video game boat, and there's no I don't know, he sank to the bottom of no game playing lake, I guess.
Wow.
So, speaking of Minecraft, that is the game we played this time around for the Game Club. Kind of a weird game to play for Game Club, I guess. I don't know. Maybe not. I feel weird about it because, like I was saying before we started recording, it's a game that I have played a lot of over the last year and a half. So it's kind of weird because it's usually games that we've never played before, and we jump into them, and that's 2-week time period's the only experience I have with the game. So
yeah, and the other thing is it's so big too compared to all the other games that we've done. We either do retro or indie, and even though this is technically indie, it's just insanely successful. Probably one of the most successful games of all time.
Yeah. And Phil has prepared a little Minecraft history lesson for us. So Phil, do you want to go ahead and give us that?
I don't want to get too out of control because this is one of those things where you could probably just keep talking about Minecraft history. But yeah, we'll try and be quick with it. So it's a sandbox indie game created by Swedish programmer Marcus Notch Person. Am I saying that?
Person.
Mm-hmm. Person. Yeah.
He later developed the game was later developed and published by Mojang.
Mojang.
Right too. Mojang.
Mojang.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cool. It was first released on PC in May of 2009. That was just an alpha build, and then there were a ton of updates to it over course of a couple of years, and it was officially released in November of 2011. The game was released. Can't even speak. It was released on Android, iOS Android and iOS in 2011, and then on Xbox in May of 2012. That was an Xbox exclusive for consoles, actually.
And I own all those versions.
Do you really?
Wow.
I do.
You even have it on Xbox?
I got them all. Yeah, but anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Phil.
You captured them like Pokemon. You got them all, man. So, as of January 22nd of 2013, I think he made a statement about it on that day, which is how they have it to the exact date there. The game has sold over 9 million copies on PC and over 20 million across all platforms, and it's the best-selling Xbox Live Arcade game ever, which, like, to me, kind of blows my mind, actually.
Well, I know there's several reasons for that, but like everybody knows Minecraft. You know, it's hugely popular and it's a decent port. I played the demo; it's really good.
Yeah,
I mean, Steve,
my nephew
you
was
got
real
it.
into it. Steve, did you dig the Xbox one?
Not as much as the PC version, but it's like Chad said, it's a good port. They did a couple different things with the interface to make it work better with the controller, and yeah, it's a good version. It's decent.
They did some other things to it too as well, didn't they? Like they lowered the ceiling cap and they you know, how low you can dig in it. But you know, and I do believe that the world size is smaller. Not that it matters, because I thought they were joking when I had read it, but isn't it something like the size of Minecraft is like 8,000 times the size of Earth or some crap like that? It's ridiculously huge. But so if they made a smaller world, even if they dropped it by 25% of its original size, I don't think anybody would really notice that while playing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So Notch created Minecraft in his spare time, and then as it became more popular and the game just kind of actually exploded, he was able to quit his full-time job and work strictly on Minecraft. And then as it grew from there, he was just like, F it, and establishing my own company. And that was what he did.
And did you guys see Minecraft: The Story of Mojang, the documentary by Two Player Productions?
Yeah, it was very good.
That's essentially like that blurb, but like the 2-hour movie, you know, with Two Player Productions, like right there the whole time.
Really, I would be interested in seeing that. I have not seen that.
It's a good movie, and actually we bought it over the Christmas break that just passed, and sat down and watched it, the three of us, me, my wife, and my daughter, who's 8 years old, and amazingly enough, she sat and watched the entire movie. And it's not like a movie where you're watching people play Minecraft the whole time either. I mean, it's a documentary, and it held her interest, which is a lot for a movie like that.
Did that play at the MagFest Film Festival?
That's right.
It all comes full circle back to MagFest.
Yeah, Games on Film, which is the film festival at MagFestival, the biggest film festival in the world ever. Wow. Yeah, that headlined basically. packed a huge room. I think it was like a 500-seat room. Wow. Packed it in there. Paul and Asif from Two Player Productions flew out from LA, you know, and it was essentially the world premiere. So it was hot potatoes. Yeah, at MagFest. Wow. Yeah, they released
This movie is new.
Yeah, they released right before MagFest. They released the DVDs only to their Kickstarter contributors that week. Oh, wow. So like the week afterwards, we had the big public showing at MagFest, and they were awesome guys. They stuck around for like Q&A and hung out with the dudes from Mario Warfare, and it was just a ton of filmmakers just like having a ball, and a lot of actually special previews at the film festival too that I look forward to next couple of years. Was
that what got you into playing Minecraft? Because shortly thereafter, you started doing your personal "Let's Suck at Minecraft" play, which you've been kind of publishing on your own, to this playthrough without looking anything up, kind of thing.
Yeah, that was basically it. Like I watched for the second time at the film festival the whole documentary, and I thought, you know, this is really like something significant, like in the gaming community. And you know, why have I been? I guess because like for a long time it was PC only, and I'm a Mac guy. You know, so I felt like there was like a separation between like the PC master race people and like, you know, and all of us console peasants over here, you know, and I've always been just like a console guy. I'm not very like techie, you know, I'm not one of those dudes with like an IT job. So I always just kind of associated Minecraft with that. So watching the documentary got me really pumped, and they have a Mac version. So I thought, you know, what better way to get into it than to just like take the plunge. And thank God I play that Xbox Live demo for like half a second, because otherwise I would have no clue how to do anything in the game. And there's like a nice tutorial in the demo.
I didn't know that, actually. That is pretty interesting that there's a tutorial in it.
Yeah, there's no documentation in the game itself about how to do anything. I was really surprised.
Yeah.
Like really surprised.
Yeah, see, now we might as well just move into our thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, I did kind of the same thing you did. I have never touched Minecraft until we decided we were doing it for this show. And when I started playing it, I was like, I'm not looking up anything. I didn't know it wasn't going to teach me anything, you know? And then when I saw that it wasn't teaching me anything, I thought, okay, I can figure this out. But then I became quickly frustrated. And Steve was sending me. I never did look anything up. Steve just sent me a couple of hints, and I started to sort of figure things out slightly on my own. But I never like. It's been a busy 2 weeks, and I I don't think Minecraft is the game for me. Okay, let me try and articulate my thoughts here a little bit. So
suddenly all the people leave watching.
Going into this episode, I really had zero interest in Minecraft. I heard everybody talking about it. Obviously, it's huge. There's so many Let's Plays. There's cartoons based on it. Like so many parodies. A couple of my nephews are like super into Minecraft. It's Minecraft everything. And I watched them play it. I'm just like, I don't get this. I don't care. I don't get it. So, playing it for the show, even though I didn't make it very far into it, I feel like I came to respect it a lot, and I get it. I understand why people are addicted to this game and they're playing it all the time, but it's just not a game for me at this point in my life. It's like, it's almost like I liken it to Pokemon, where it's like, to me, it's more than just sitting down and playing a game for an hour. It's like a hobby almost. Like you need to really invest, and I don't have that time to invest in Minecraft. Or if I do have that time, I'd rather just like play multiple other games as opposed to just sitting in Minecraft.
I could see that as being, likening it to Pokemon. That actually kind of makes sense. I played the game. My first time playing it was when it was still in beta, and I think at the time you could pay like $15 or something like that, and it was like, hey, if you pay for it in beta, you'll get the full build version for free anyway. So I was like, there's already like 4 million people playing this game. I might as well be one of them and pay for it while it's cheap. And I played it then. At the time, there was no music. A lot of the things that are actually in the game now weren't in the game then. And I played the heck out of it, and I built the heck out of a ton of stuff, and I kind of lost interest with it. And then I actually saw Steve doing a live stream of it with his daughter, and I was like, wow, they actually added in a ton of really cool stuff into this game. And then Elder Geek, we picked up a group server, for Elder Geek staff and family and friends, and kind of got re-addicted to it. And that's kind of why we decided to do Minecraft for this episode. There's a lot that I really love about Minecraft. The fact that you could pretty much build your wildest dreams. You could build whatever buildings you want. You don't even need to build buildings. You could just decorate the world how you see fit. But there's actually some stuff about the game that I don't like either, and probably rooted in the fact that there's no story and there's no tutorial, which I guess is okay. But there are end bosses to it, so there can be an end game to the game if you want there to be. And for how successful the game is, there's something that irks me a little bit that they don't add in something that helps the players along the way. Like maybe every 50 pieces of iron that you dig, you get a chance of getting a recipe book or something that has one recipe that you didn't have before, to kind of teach the player how to build, I don't know, like a forge or something like that, or the proper way to build an alchemy station. You would not know how to do any of that stuff unless you were like glued to the Minecraft Wikipedia page, which is how I play the game. I've got Minecraft on one screen and Minecraft Wikipedia on the other page, and I'm constantly back and forth.
See, that's actually that was the part I thought was the most interesting about the game. It's almost kind of like this double-edged sword. It's like you go in there and if you don't look at anything, well then you're just gonna walk in circles for hours, and you're probably like, well, screw this game. But then so what that does is it kind of reminds me of the old days, where you didn't have anything. Like think of the first Zelda. Like you play the first Zelda, you're dropped in there, and what do you do in that game? You don't know you can burn a bush and a little hole shows up and you can go in it.
Right.
That was what Nintendo Power was for, and that was what all your friends were for at school.
And you borrowed their map and you made notes based on their notes.
And
yeah.
I feel like Minecraft, without having these tutorials, I feel like it has brought that back, and maybe that's why it's become so popular, because everybody's on YouTube, and everybody, that is the playground essentially, is YouTube and Reddit, and everybody's sharing their ideas, and they're like, hey, we can make this and that if you do this, and you sitting there with a Minecraft Wikipedia page is basically you sitting there with Nintendo Power 25 years ago, so that's what I think is cool about it. And even cooler, I think, is one of the problems with a lot of modern games today is everybody's complaining, oh, there's so many tutorials. The game's always holding my hand. The game never lets go. And, you know, Dead Space 3 is a straight line. You're just going straight. I don't know if Dead Space 3 is.
But Final Fantasy 13 is sure a straight line up until hour 10.
A straight line, and you're just, that's it. And, you know, there's the win button. You hit the button and you win. And everybody hates that.
Yeah.
So, you know, and developers say, well, the reason we do this is because we want people to finish our games. We want people to go through this 10-hour story and experience the game. Whereas Minecraft is saying the complete opposite. It's just like, you know what? Maybe people don't need these tutorials. And I feel like the fact that this game has sold over 20 million copies says to me, people don't give a shit about tutorials, and if you make a compelling game, they're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And that is like, to me, that's like the biggest home run of Minecraft. It's just that I feel like it has just kind of completely gone against the grain by going back to the old ways of game design.
Yeah.
And that is like what I totally respect about it.
I totally agree with that. And I think at this point, if they were to add in something along the lines of a story, as minor as it might be, or if they were to add in tutorials, I think they would get some backlash from people. But that doesn't mean there wouldn't be a nice way to work around it. They could even separate the game into another game mode, because right now they've got sandbox mode where you can go in, you can literally fly wherever you want within the game, and have an infinite supply of materials to build whatever you want and not have to worry about dying or anything like that. Then there's survival mode where you have to eat and basically survive, and you gain levels, and you can use those levels to enchant items. I don't see any reason why they couldn't add a third version where it would be like story mode or survival story mode along those lines. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. I don't think that they're at the point where they're accepting notes at all for building their massively popular game. But I'm totally addicted to Minecraft. People watching the video right now are actually going to be seeing what we've all kind of built.
Your world is ridiculous, by the way. Your world, this town, when I was hanging out in my world doing nothing, cooking like meats on the top of a hill with my little cave, and then I go to your a castle with towers and houses and all sorts of things. I was blown away. I really was blown away by it.
Yeah, and that's just that's just a fraction of what you can do. People have been recreating like the Game of Thrones, cities and everything like that with it.
It's nuts.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So it basically is, Lego is probably shooting themselves in the foot thinking, why didn't we make something this simple and this easy to do?
Yeah, it's funny because when you think about the Lego games, you're not really like building stuff in the Lego games, They're just kind of like these brawlers. You kind of run around and just smacking things.
And you collect pieces.
Yeah, you collect pieces. And it's like, okay, well, it's not really Legos. But this is like Legos.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Minecraft is the most successful creative thing that the gaming community or just video games in general have ever seen, or have ever seen on like a really popular scale. There's been games like this. I think there were a couple Lego Universe, I think, for the PC.
Yep.
Where you could just create anything, but Minecraft kind of takes it up a notch. A notch.
Pun fully intended.
But really, it's a great creative mode, where you can just go nuts. But people, I think in the past where are you given an ounce of creative freedom and everybody just draws dicks, right? That's it. Honestly, that's the first thing everybody gravitates to. That's
pretty much.
that's the big joke. But because there's a ton of things to do, hundreds and thousands of different things to assail your brain with, especially in survival mode. Where you also have to worry about creepers coming up and blowing up your house or blowing up you and losing your levels and all your crap. Going into leveling up yourself to be able to withstand the hell level, which has just been the bane of my existence.
Which, by the way, I saw today for the very first time the castle that you built around the outside of our portal to the Netherworld or whatever it's called. That's really cool.
Oh, well, yeah, well, I mean, and I put it on, I think the last video I uploaded was, me going to hell for the first time and just getting destroyed. Getting destroyed by those freaking pig zombies. Nobody told me, well, of course, I'd never looked it up, that there would be, pig zombies with swords, golden swords.
That are
and they
friendly,
would all just
apparently.
Swarm.
Well,
They're not friendly.
Well, the thing is if you don't attack them, they won't attack you. But as soon as you attack one, they'll, all aggro you. So if you just go in and leave them alone, they'll just kind of hang out and snort at you.
Is that where I wandered into with my no armor, Andy?
Yeah, I walked Phil for the very first time. He was like, "Wow, this is almost too much to take in." I walk him right through the front gates of Fort Kickass, and our purple portal gate is like as you go through the front door. We pass Murray's
And keep in mind, I was following Randy for like 15 minutes to get.
Yeah,
to
I give him like a map.
place.
I'm like, here's a map. You know, if you ever get lost, just go right back to the center of the map. And then I turn around and Phil's gone, and he's like, "Where am I?" And then it just says, "Shamoozle was killed by a pig man" or something like that. I'm like, "What the hell? Where'd you go, man?" Speaking of where'd you go, it looks like we lost Phil for a second there.
Oh no. He's gone off to hell to battle the giant screaming octo baby that spits fire at you.
He digitally just did what he did to me in Minecraft, so...
God.
But,
well,
yeah.
I feel like the hell level is like above and beyond. Everything about this game is like above and beyond what I think I've personally seen before, and what, like, you know, is just the general vibe, and like, you know, like, in terms of like, all right, you're given this world... Great. You can create anything you want. Awesome. Oh, wait, there's a complicated rule system that you kind of have to buy into and figure out. Cool. Okay. Oh, wait, there's this great community component also attached, going, like, above and beyond. And then there's, like, all right, I think my first big surprise was, all right, late at night, the sun goes down and the moon comes up, and all these monsters swarm, and you're just destroyed.
Yeah.
You know, like, that just makes that just so much more interesting than... just blah blah blah. Here, have some paint and some brushes, and you know,
and go
like
nuts.
if only art had like a survival horror like thing in real life. You know what I mean?
Hello, sorry.
You screwed up our video too while you were gone. Everybody got smooshed.
How? I'm sorry.
But Phil. But no, man, I totally agree with you, Chad. This is video gaming to a whole new level. The last thing I think that was probably this creative within video games was Mario Paint. Which I'm always surprised when I see fun stuff come up from Mario Paint, like when people like do the Skyrim theme or something like that on Mario Paint.
I was thinking of making a movie in Mario Paint, like not a movie, but like a cartoon in Mario Paint again.
You're freakishly good at Mario Paint, aren't you?
Dude, I played a lot of Mario.
I think I only played Mario Paint for the mouse and the fly swatting game, and that was really it. I'm musically kind of not talented.
For me, it wasn't the music. It was always just I hooked it up to my VHS, my tape recorder, whatever the heck it was. The VCR. There we go. I couldn't think of VCR. You realize this?
It's been that long.
My VHS player. So yeah, I hooked my Super Nintendo up to the VCR and would like make movies with it that way.
That's pretty cool.
Wow. You gotta upload some of that.
My sister taped over all of them in the Flyers game.
What?
No.
I'll never forget it. I will never forget it, ever.
Wow.
She's disinvited from the wedding. She is dead to us.
Yeah, it was a very tough moment. Even my dad was upset when that one happened. That was like a...
With a Flyers game? Like, no offense to the Flyers or anything, because, three of us live in the Philly area.
Maybe that's why I hate hockey. Maybe that's why I just...
Wait, so you're in Philadelphia then?
Yeah, we're all in the Philly area, yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right, so you're all in the Philly area. Is it true? Does Philly have the worst fans in sports history?
Yeah.
Well,
they're mean, dude.
I don't know if you would say that's the worst. They're the most passionate.
They are very notoriously mean, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of... I mean, there's some bad things that happen every now and then, and they get kind of blown out of proportion. I don't know.
I mean,
They're
like, there was... there are, like, sometimes where like the home team gets booed in Philly, and I don't think that ever happens in Buffalo, where I'm from.
Oh, well, yeah, okay. If that's bad, then yeah.
I guess define bad.
I was gonna say like only once in a while does someone from another fan from the other team get beat up in the parking lot. That was my definition of like not being too bad, was that it might happen like once a season.
But yeah, they are notoriously mean, man. I think the only fans that are like have a stronger notoriety are like Raiders fans.
I've heard I've heard Raiders fans are pretty comparable.
Yeah. But the Philly fans are very passionate. We'll leave it at that. I don't want any
Yes.
Philly fans coming out and finding us.
Yeah, they'll come get you.
They would.
So Steve, how is it playing Minecraft with your daughter?
That was gonna kind of be my. Thank you for asking, because that was what I wanted to kind of go with for my thoughts.
Host the show.
It's weird. So yeah, I have this kind of different way of how I experienced the game, because the two of us sit and play it together. When I first got the game, we only had it on one computer, and we would sit here together and just do all kinds of stuff. Now we're at the point where she's got her own computer and her own account, and we're doing LAN games in the house together, which is just it's really awesome. It's one of those things that like we share together and we can talk about, and my wife probably thinks we're speaking some other crazy language, but it's one of those things where, like, you know, in the morning I get her on the school bus, and there's usually a good 10 minutes or so where we're just kind of hanging out waiting for the bus, and we'll just sit there and talk about, I'll be like, so what were you building this morning before we left, and we'll have like a conversation about it, and it's just it's given us this thing to connect on that, for like parents and their kids, I feel like there's not a lot of stuff like that. There's like Disney movies and things like that can be enjoyed by both, and obviously there's a lot of games I play that I could never ever allow her to play, but at least until she's older. But this is one that's it's a challenging experience, because we typically play on survival mode together, so it's not it's not a cakewalk, and so it's like a real video game experience. It's not, I guess is what I'm saying. It's not like we're just messing around. We actually have a goal. We have our castle. We're trying to get to the end and everything on our world. So it's pretty amazing that. And when I watched that Mojang movie, it really struck me, especially the stuff about how they were using it to teach in schools and everything, like just like how it can be used, kind of to let adults and kids kind of communicate with each other, or even it doesn't always have to be like a huge esoteric meaningful conversation, but just talking about anything, something to do, something to connect about. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think you actually bring up a really good point. When we were kids, there was no shortage of kid-friendly games. There was zero shortage, But now it's kind of like there is, Aside from the Nintendo Wii and most, a good number of its games, it's kind of hard to find kid-friendly, fun games.
And the kid-friendly ones usually suck these days.
Yeah, that's actually was going to be my second point. Most of the kid-friendly games that come out now are just garbage, And right. I'm surprised that kids. I'll be surprised if kids grow up to actually continue to play video games when they're like, these games are terrible. Yeah. My Little Pony game was just terrible.
Hang on a second there. I mean, like, what I want to say is, like, you're using your adult perspective to be like, hey, these are ass.
That's
when
true.
Really, like, if you look back at the things we were into when we were kids, like, really seriously into, they're just as bad. I mean, go rewatch an episode of He-Man, and that's all you need to go.
That's true.
Yeah, cartoons and stuff, but like, okay, like take DuckTales on Nintendo. Game's badass, dude. DuckTales was made today to be a pile of shit. Like it's like that is a fact. If DuckTales was made today, it'd be terrible.
I kind of wonder though if a kid nowadays were to play DuckTales versus their modern SpongeBob game, if they would like one more than the other.
These are kids that cut their teeth on different things, so maybe I don't know. I feel like DuckTales is one of those games that, like, a lot of, like, kids, maybe not kids, but, like, I don't know, like, my nephew likes DuckTales. He's older for my nephew. He's
25.
Yeah, thank you. So, but I mean, clearly, he did not grow up with DuckTales. He didn't grow up, like, his first system was Nintendo 64. And, like, he's got respect for DuckTales. He likes DuckTales. So I feel like it's one of those games that, like, through emulators or whatever, like, kids will find it because it's one of those games that people talk about still, and they'll play and they like it. But
go ahead.
I would say yes to your preference. Like, all right, if you as a kid or if you're growing up like a gamer or like a hardcore gamer, maybe you're going to be into first-person shooters or things that require a lot of skill. But for like the average kid, let's say average kid, who's just like not a gamer, just part of the pop culture, maybe games occasionally, like most of the gaming community, like 90%, like maybe they'll see it from a different way, and then it just boils down to taste.
You're probably right.
Okay, but we can all agree that Minecraft is a good kids game. I almost feel dirty saying that it's a kids game, but it can be a kids game. It's a kid-friendly game.
Yeah, I don't know that I would classify it as a kid's game, but yeah, definitely a kid-friendly game.
Yeah.
And
You
What's
know
the
what I thought
rating?
was interesting? Well, I'm sorry. What's the rating? Is that what you said?
Yeah, is it E for everyone?
I would think so.
Does it have a rating?
I'm not really sure. I don't know if for like a downloadable game that you only.
Well, I guess the Xbox one has to.
yeah,
I
imagine.
think you need to have a rating to throw it up there, right? Maybe. Am I making up stuff about Xbox Live
It's
again?
funny we're talking about kids and Minecraft because, you know, the moment I knew Minecraft really was like just beyond huge was I was over my other nephew's house and all his cousins were over from the other side. It was a birthday party, and they're all younger, probably like I don't know, maybe in like 6th grade or something like that,
Yeah.
or 5th grade, and they were playing Minecraft, like playing it with, you know, like how you would play tag or something. Like they made up this game that was Minecraft, and they're like, okay, you're the creepers, you know, like they came up with this game. And I was like, dude, I was like, Minecraft is like, they're playing Minecraft. They don't even have the game in front of them. They're just made up this game and they're calling it Minecraft, you know, like it was just like, oh my god, I can't believe that this game is that huge that these kids are just being Minecraft.
I gotcha.
That's something
You know what I-
something we didn't even really talk about, and I guess we didn't in the 2 weeks that we've been playing this. We've pretty much just been sticking to the vanilla experience of Minecraft Survival Mode, but there are a ton of mods and stuff that have been made for the game too. There are adventure mode worlds that you can load the game and you get quests from NPCs and you have to go out and do stuff. People have like built this. There's also it's like similar to the Hunger Games type of game where you all spawn in and you're paired up with someone and you just have to run away from the center where you all spawn in.
Yep.
And then you have to kind of like
cool.
it basically simulates the experience of the Hunger Games in a Minecraft world where it's PvP.
There's even zombie survival kind of things as well, where it's kind of eternal night, and then there are weapons that are hidden within castles that are pre-built, and you can go in and get them and kind of defend yourself. But otherwise, there's no digging and crafting on your own. You've got to use the materials that are preset by someone else.
Right. And so, yeah, I mean, you talk about creativity and the stuff that's out there just kind of outside of the game, the people who have, you know, created these external mods. It's pretty amazing. I have yet to really experience any of them. One thing, I don't know, I don't think it's difficult, but it's a little bit of legwork to get mods installed on the game, whereas I think one of the things on their list of things that they want to implement to the game is actual mod support. And that's something they're working on or have been working on for some period of time. And when that happens, I mean, that's just going to blow open the doors, because then once it's even easier for people to install mods, I think it's gonna get a lot more people doing it.
Yeah, it'll be like the Half-Life engine all over again, except worse. You know.
Well, I think this is what Activision wanted StarCraft 2 to be. You know, like when StarCraft 2 first came out, Wings of Liberty, they're like, check this out, you can do anything you want, and it's easy, and you know, like they wanted to build up that community of just like modders and hackers. But I don't know if outside of the first like 6 months, there really wasn't any activity on that.
Yeah. Huh.
Yep.
Minecraft. See, Phil, do you want to replay it again, bud?
No, I told you, I can't invest in it. I can't. It's too much. It's too much for me to take.
I actually was asking.
Like, I saw your world. I'm telling you, I was like blown away. I was just thinking, how many hours did they spend building this place? This is out of, like, I can't fathom it. Like,
more than we're comfortable to talk about.
Yeah. I think for me, I mean, I'm not a huge survival game fan. I don't play a ton of survival games and not survival horror or anything. But for me, the survival mode in this game kind of scratches that itch, and it kind of fulfills, for me, what I would want out of a survival game, which is, you know, you're just kind of thrown into this situation, and you know, you just have to kind of make what you can. You know, my introduction to the game came right around when it officially launched. It had been on my radar, and it was one of those things I wanted to check out and had never gotten around to looking at. And I came across a video, and it was kind of like, I think the name of it was How to Survive Your First Night in Minecraft. And I watched that, and then I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. Now I understand. Because I had that kind of barrier where I thought it was just like a toy. You know, I didn't understand that there was actually a layer of game there until I watched that video, and that really clicked for me. And then I got into it.
Gotcha.
A little too much.
I needed to have somebody kind of walk me through it especially because I think the first time that I played it, I didn't understand I didn't see a video my first night in Minecraft, and the first time I fired it up, I was like, how the hell do I do anything? And they were like, go up and punch a tree, dumbass. So I go up and I punch, and I'm hammering my mouse, and nothing's happening. I'm like, well, come on. What? And they're like, hold down your mouse. Like, even something as simple as that, like telling you to hold down your mouse as opposed to like clicking it like a mad person. That's not even explained to you. But yeah, after that, it was just kind of like falling down the stairs. You know?
Yeah.
I think falling down the stairs has never been so pleasurable, Randy. No, there's so many moments doing a run with like base knowledge of how to play the game that really activated that, like, yeah, I accomplished something in a video game and I feel really good about it, as opposed to like the last 10 years of gaming, which has just been like feeling like the gameplay has just been stagnant because you've played every single mode of gameplay there ever has to, that is offered now.
Yeah.
Like I've played the 2D platformer, I played the 3D platformer, I played the JRPG, I played the Western RPG, and now I'm starting to say, okay, I've played the shooter RPG hybrid, I've played the massive multiplayer online brawler, and all the combinations, and this just totally felt fresh. And when you're in something fresh that's like new, you tend to like really remember it.
Yeah.
Like my first time in a hugely creative universe where your ass was on the line every single night. Like that's Minecraft. Whereas like my first time ever playing like vehicular combat game, Twisted Metal 2, and I remember all the levels, is highly memorable. And I feel like every single time you do something new, like gameplay wise, you're like, that was the best that it's ever gonna be.
Right.
Yeah.
That was my like Crash Team Racing, my first kart racer. It was like best kart racer of all time.
Crash Team Racing was your first kart racer?
Yeah, dude, and
Holy
still
shit.
it holds up.
So what you're basically saying is that video games are pretty much like drug addiction, where you're always trying to top that last high. With
The first high was the best high. You gotta
but
one.
you always you just gotta get one that's a little better than the last.
That, Steve,
Well,
is called chasing the dragon, good friend.
Yes, there you go.
I would just say you just never forget your first time. That's it.
You know what? I will say this: there's the first time of playing Minecraft by yourself and having all of those aha moments of figuring everything out for yourself. But then there's actually playing Minecraft with friends, which to me is a completely different experience because I don't want to say like a society forms, but a society kind of forms among you and your friends. Somebody goes off and they are the official like weapon maker, or something along those lines. Like with us, Steve made it his mission to go out and craft potions for everybody, so that when we actually get around to the point to doing the final boss, we're gonna have all these potions to actually heal ourselves so we don't die 1,000 times. And that's just kind of the way it worked out. Somebody went to do the farming. Mons made sure to have like the castle built and everything along those lines. So, you know what I mean? Like there's that sense of society that I really haven't had, even in like an MMO, in a long time. Because even now, most MMOs have kind of gotten rid of the whole home system within their walls, which is kind of sad if you ask me. I think the last one that did the home system well was Star Wars Galaxy, the original version of it. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Multiplayer is a different beast entirely than single player.
And I didn't really touch on like the single player part of it. I mean, I've had some. It's weird, like we were saying about how you remember these things that happen, and I've just had some nights like, probably over a year ago when I was first really playing the game a lot. Just some like, this is gonna sound weird to say, but just some wonderfully like lonely nights where like I'm the only person in this gigantic world. There was one night I went and got really, really lost. And I'm not going to go into the mechanics because might get boring, but I basically ended up probably thousands of miles, for lack of better terminology, away from where my home was. And I didn't have a compass. I had no way to get back. And I just wandered and wandered and wandered for hours that night. It must have been like 2.5 hours of me just trying to find my way back by following the sun. And it never happened, and then I ended up just drowning myself and then waking up in my bed.
The world really is that big.
It's huge, dude.
You really do get that lost.
Yeah, I actually just for shits and giggles, I was watching Netflix, and I was like, I really want to see what kind of landscapes the game, randomly generates. And I put it into creative mode, and while I was watching Netflix, I just kind of took my guy and flew him up really high in the sky, and I just kind of, I had something holding down on my W key, so it would just constantly keep scrolling forward. It's gigantic. I crossed several, what could be called oceans, or at least, gigantic lakes, and it just kind of keeps continuing and continuing. So you'll go from, like, massive land structures where it'll have both snow and temperate kind of areas, or desert as well, and then you'll also have like just massive island chains that kind of happen as well. So you could live pretty much any kind of life you wanted within there. You could live like a tropical island little life where you're really dependent on what you can do within that little environment, or you can create gigantic societies like we were trying to do. So. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of neat, Steve. That's an experience I don't think you could really get with any other game. That sense of being actually lost and being a little bit scared because you've lost. It's not like just dying and losing what you had on you. You lost your entire home and possibly everything that was in it, and all of your belongings, really.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, then it all worked out because I drowned myself.
Because you killed yourself.
Yeah. It had a happy ending in a weird way.
I like in Minecraft the single player campaign a lot too. It's the book Robinson Crusoe. I just read it like a couple years ago, and if you haven't read it, it's about this dude who gets shipwrecked and he's on the island for like 40 years, and he has to start from scratch, not knowing how to do anything, how to how to hunt for animals, how to farm, and learns it kind of like through happenstance. And a lot of the stuff that I figured out in Minecraft, like you were saying, Phil, it's just like, oh my god, like how the hell does this work? Oh wait, no, I had a breakthrough. All right, now I know how to make something. And then like the whole, thank goodness for multiplayer, man, or else I wouldn't know, like, what, you feed the wheat that I would make into bread to an animal, and then it makes with something else, and you can harvest that, and oh man.
Yeah, even a lot of that stuff was a lot of trial and error. Like, we were like walking up to pigs with wheat, and they were like, why aren't these damn things following us? And we were kind of trial and error, just walking up with like potatoes, and eventually carrots were the ones that worked. So, yeah.
Word. I was surprised by like how much depth there was to it. Like, it really is like a deep game with like tons to do, like limitless potential.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah. Well worth the asking price.
Oh yeah,
it's $30.
People, yeah,
it's something. Forever. It's like $26 or some odd number or something. I'm sure that has to do with like to Swedish conversion or something along those lines.
Yeah, I think it's like $26.95 or something like that. And you can even buy the cards now. You can. I've seen the Minecraft cards in like 7-Eleven and Target and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, they're in like where they have like the Clump Penguin and the World of Warcraft cards and all that. In that area there, they'll have a little redeemable card that you can take and punch the code in, and then you got yourself Minecraft.
Wow.
Yeah. Yo, Club Penguin. Talk about talk about a shit game that kids love the hell out of, and we'll talk about like 20 years from now.
That's because it's got constant, non-stop advertising on Disney Channel.
Oh
man. It is a Disney property.
They own it now.
Yeah.
I don't think they owned it at first.
Okay, well now they do, and it's like every other commercial on Disney Channel is for Club Penguin. So
Club Penguin's definitely still like a thing. That's still happening.
It's still out there, yeah.
I never heard of it until I started talking to you three. So
what?
Yeah, seriously.
Wow.
Yeah, I have no idea what Club Penguin is.
Yeah, you will.
It's the most successful MMO for kids ever.
Huh.
And it's probably because Disney. I mean, I know Disney picked it up because it was a successful IP. But like I've known, like we have some kid friends that were just like super into it for 6 months. Let's say, and they just played the hell out of it and like chatted with their friends, chatted with strangers. But it's like a safe game, and it has a ton of spin-offs and microtransactions.
That's what those cards are for. Yeah.
I pray that Minecraft never brings in microtransactions. Want to play the soccer game in game? It's an extra $2.95.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they don't even have to at this point. They've just made so much goddamn money on this game that they might as well just keep it pure and maintain the level of integrity that it has. I think that's the other thing about the game is it does have kind of, even like Phil said, like it's not for him, but like he appreciates it, he respects it, the things that it does. I think it has this because of its roots and where it came from, and even the way it's grown, it has maintained that integrity. And I think if they were to do anything to jeopardize that, it would only hurt themselves, and then potentially hurt future games that they're working on.
Like Scrolls.
Yes, like Scrolls. I'd like to check that out.
What's the word on that? What's that?
I haven't touched it.
From what I've seen,
is it a game like? Can you buy it?
No, it's not out yet. I think it's in alpha or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know much about it. From what I've seen, it kind of looks like it's a mixture of like a card game and looks kind of similar to that. The hell's that game people play on the iPhone? The Hero game, where it looks like a chessboard and they move they have the different classes, and I'm drawing the total brain.
Sounds like chess to me.
Oh,
Wait, there's like
different
black
classes
pieces and white pieces. And there's like a
All
bishop and a queen.
All right.
Steve, is it Clash of Heroes? Might and Magic?
No, it's not a Might and Magic game.
No?
It's something
That was
else.
good, though.
It's got a kind of cartoon look. I'll remember it as soon as we're done here. But anyway, it's not important. But it has that kind of look to it, like a.
Because of the success of Minecraft, I'm certain that Scrolls will be massively successful. Just because people are going to be like, I got to get his next game just to see what it's like.
That was actually going to be my next question I wanted to throw to you guys. Do you think like Minecraft is not just like one-hit wonder, or do you think this guy is going to just like continue to knock him out of the park and be legendary?
I've read interviews with him where he's basically said, "Look, I think this is probably the most successful thing I'll ever do." And he just wants to make games. I think that's just from what I don't know him personally, and I certainly am not meaning to sound like I'm inside his head or anything. But just from watching what he said, reading interviews, and what he said in the movie, he seems like he's content, to just continue making games that he wants to make. And if they never have the same success as Minecraft, that he's just good with that.
I think that's respectable. I don't think he ever needs another game to be as successful as Minecraft as long as he lives, though.
Yeah.
You know what? The advantage that he does have, too, is that I feel like he's one of the few game developers that, like, people really know. And, like, because of, like, Twitter, people can follow him. And, and he has this huge audience that he can, like, broadcast to. And, when he's got a new game out, he's got, 1 million people following him. And he goes, okay, go play my new game. So he's definitely got probably 1 million people that are going to play his new game every time. So,
well, I think something that, especially not a lot of non-game people are talking about right now, especially I don't know, I listen to NPR all the time. They talk about this a lot. Is what defines success? Because in America we have this corporate business model of, all right, if you are a stockholder, you want that stock to go up and up and up and up and up. So corporate entities and publicly traded entities have to do everything they can to just increase and increase and increase and go up and up and up. But if you're just like a regular business owner, what is success for you? Like, how much money do you have to make? Is like being content with like your life and like content with something that you made with your hands, maybe, like, is that enough to be considered successful? Even if, and I think somebody was just talking about this the other day, like, even if your gaming podcast oney reaches, let's say, 10 people. 10 people.
You're not far off. You're not far off.
Hey, these YouTube hits are going up every issue.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead, Chad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Even if you only reach a small amount of people, if those people appreciate you and you appreciate the work that, and you're fulfilled by it, like, isn't that successful enough? So, like, does Notch have to, like, reach for the stars and go higher for his next project in order to be, like, a success?
Yeah. Basically, everybody's kind of wondering if he's going to be the next J.D. Salinger kind of thing. Is that one book, The Catcher in the Rye? How come you never wrote anything as great as that ever again, J.D.?
You didn't like A Perfect Day for Banana Fish? I mean,
But, I think you're right. I think as long as he's happy making the games that he wants to make, I hope that's going to be successful to him. I hope that he doesn't change his mentality from making games that I'm content with to, like you said, a corporate mindset of I'm making games that are going to make me massively rich. I hope that he hasn't had that change in mindset. Something tells me, based on the interviews that I've read about him and his interactions with his fans and just the way he conducts himself online, doesn't seem like he has yet. Which is good.
There was an article just released in an interview. Sorry if I'm stepping on you.
No,
I'm getting
you're
some
good.
robot voice on this end. It's like blah, 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 blah. Anyway. No, there was just an article where he said he basically said he will not be publicly traded. He only wants his business Mojang to reach like a certain level. And as a business owner myself, I can tell you like God, it's crazy when you start employing people and like having to worry about like people's livelihoods like stuck in your hands. So when I read that about him, I was like, oh man, thank goodness, because even if you saw in the documentary, he has so many people under him already that I'm sure just that stress is just like enough to, detract from his creative side.
Yeah, it probably is.
And I think that's probably why he's delegated and put he moved Jeb onto Minecraft to be the lead developer on that. He's got people running the business, and I think that gives him the freedom to just kind of continue and be creative. And he seems like a smart guy to delegate like that, I think, rather than trying to just do it all and burning himself out.
Isn't there a saying, a wise man doesn't know a lot, he knows what he doesn't know, or something along those lines? It seems like the kind of move that he's doing. He knows that he's not a business owner and runner or manager or something along. Hire somebody who knows how to do it,
Word, higher tier weaknesses.
Is that how it goes?
Something like that.
Sounds good.
Sounded way better than the way I
wise.
bumbled it.
So let's see. Do we want to hit? We got one community thought.
One community thought.
We got one community thought from
Apparently
Victor.
nobody at ElderGeek.com played Minecraft before.
Victor via Facebook left us this. He said Minecraft was a fantastic concept and fortunately found its way into the public eye and gained a massive following and success. However, I do not think that the game feels or will ever feel finished. Instead of further polishing the gameplay, the developers keep adding things like pistons, item enchantment, and a slew of other features that add very little to the overall game experience. I really like the idea of the game and purchased it way back when it was in alpha, before the game truly exploded. It is by no means a bad game in my opinion, I just believe it's not very focused. He's kind of mirroring a little bit of what you said, Randy, about it not having kind of like not a focus that pushes you in any sort of direction, which can be considered a strength or a weakness depending on how you look at it, I guess.
Yeah. Again, I think that the best way to do a workaround of that would be like a survival adventure mode. Officially sponsored by, Mojang or whatever.
Officially sponsored by Doritos. You mean?
Yeah, or officially sponsored by Mountain Dew. By Mountain Dew.
Instead, the game camera switches to third person. You're a bald space marine. You curse a lot.
No, but I was really thinking about it, and it's funny you were talking about Zelda earlier, Phil. I was really thinking about how fantastic it would be if there was actually dungeons like level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 where if you finished that boss you would get the recipe to build something even cooler in the game that you didn't know how to do before. And the game actually does random dungeons pretty well. I can only imagine how neat it would be if somebody took the time to build official dungeons for it. And I think it would also be equally cool if they made it an adventure, kind of like how you need to gather up the Ender Eyes together to find the portal to get to the Ender Dragon. How neat it would be if you were to go through steps like that to find the level 1, the level 2, level 3 dungeons kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, I just think that there's a ton of potential there, and of course the modding community is fulfilling that potential, but mods can only take you so far. Mods can take you very far, but it's always nice when you get the official supported version,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I do believe people, speaking of Zelda and Minecraft, I do believe people have recreated like most, or if not all, Ocarina of Time dungeons in the game.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep.
I would just take a moment to shit on your dreams, Randy. And I think that would be a terrible idea to introduce dungeons in the game outside of modding, because that's what Minecraft is all about. It's not Zelda. It's not. And I feel like the music kind of really epitomizes the mood of the game. And maybe that wasn't in alpha. But the music is just laid back. It's this soft tempo, kind of like a mellow, kind of like a, all right, this isn't like orchestrated, like dun, 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 like fighting on top of like a spaceship, flying, hitting a mountain in space. I don't know. It's like, it's cool. It's mellow. You're hanging out. Maybe you're high. I don't know. That's always like, that's the mood of Minecraft to me. And I feel like, it doesn't need dungeons. Like right now,
no,
I feel like we can get away from dungeons.
I agree with you, Chad. I think it becomes more gamey.
Oop.
Uh-oh, I think we lose Chad?
We lose Chad.
No. I was just, you used the word gamey.
Are you? Because I use gamey.
I felt like I should have a shot in front of me or something. And
I wanted you to. I was waiting for the whoop, and I got it. More scripted. It becomes scripted at that point.
Yeah, I could see that. But like I said, I would almost like it to...
Did you guys lose Chad?
No. I can see Chad.
Him, but
He's good.
I can't hear him. I'm sorry.
Hey, I was listening. I was being a good listener.
You were being a great listener. I'm sorry.
too good.
But that's what I was saying, kind of like that whole non-scripted Zelda 1 kind of mentality to it. That I could see and appreciate. And it almost does have a non-scripted Zelda 1 feel to it already by finding that Ender Dragon portal. But about the music is fantastic. And in fact, when I played it the first time, the music wasn't in there. It was just kind of silence. And when I came back and played it again, I was like, wow, this is really fantastic. And they added in a lot of the other effects too, like the lightning and the rain and the rain sound effects. And that is also equally fantastic. You'll be deep underground, but you'll hear the thunder, and it sounds as though it's coming down through the caverns. So
that's cool.
Whoever did the audio and the audio design on it in the later phases did a really great job.
I actually like the graphics and the look of it. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, I love Minecraft, but it looks like shit." I actually like it. Like I think it has like a charming art. It's like aesthetic to it.
It's like one of those things also when you kind of like pull back and look at it. If you look at a large landscape, it's pretty in its own way. It's like a Monet painting or something. It's like, if you zoom in real close, not so much, but when you pull back and you kind of take in the whole thing, and it becomes beautiful.
Yeah, I am. By the way, the people watching this, I am using a mod to change the appearance of it. It's called the Pure Sphax or something like that.
Sphax PureBDCraft or something like that.
I'll throw a link for it down in the description below.
Yeah,
but,
it kind of gives everything a little bit more of a cartoony look than that pixelated graphic. But I started using that as well. But I still do appreciate and like the original, just base texture pack.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I actually didn't really like the texture pack at all.
No, honestly,
no, not at all.
Oh, you didn't like the Sphax texture pack or whatever it's called?
No, it was jarring immediately because I was like, "What the hell is in my hand?" Like the torch looks really odd. But then I guess maybe it's just like I like the old school 8-bit feel of Minecraft. It's very familiar. It's like comfort food.
Yeah, it is. It is like comfort food. I tried a few of the other texture packs as well. Like there's an insanely popular HD real life texture pack, but that didn't feel right to me. And I don't know. For me, this is the only texture pack that felt right, and I tried a ton of them.
Yeah, I tried a bunch, and outside of the original vanilla texture pack, this was the only one that I liked at all.
Yeah,
I tried some that made it look like post-apocalyptic. One
that's
kind of like. One had like an old style like a Western RPG look to it, like Ultima or something, and it just didn't really do it for me.
Oh, dude, that's it. All right, so to Victor, to anybody who wants something that looks like Minecraft but is actually Zelda, 3D Game Heroes.
I really want to play that game so bad.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sitting on my shelf right here. It's one of those. I've played a bit of it, but I haven't finished it.
Yeah, that game looks great. That's one of my games of like just rainy day. I really want to try it, kind of thing. But
go through Wind Waker and Twilight Princess first, and then go back.
All right, I will.
It's not as good as those.
So I guess that does it. I think we've talked to Minecraft to death, pretty much. It's one of those games. It's when you try to explain it to somebody, you sound insane. Somebody who has never played it, because one of the guys on our server who's been playing, my buddy Tilo, who came and played on the Elder Geek server with us. I tried to get him into that game for like a year because we always played MMOs together and stuff, and I was like, this game will be so up your alley with the crafting and that kind of just he likes getting lost in games, and I was like, this game was made for you. And I would sit there at night, we'd be in like mumble chat or something, and I'd be trying to explain it to him, and he'd be like, you sound insane. He's like, I don't want to play this. It just sounds terrible, and you sound like there's something wrong with you. And then, sure enough, like once I was like, look, we set up a server at Elder Geek, just buy the $26 game and come play. And then, like, I would log on in the morning before work, and he'd still be on playing and stuff. I'd be like, did you even sleep last night? So, yeah, it's just one of those things. It's impossible to really explain it properly. And once you experience it, you have the ability to get in there and really see what is so special about it.
I think it's even one of those things that you have to play to appreciate it as well. I mean, you could watch videos of it and be like,
Yeah.
My wife will be in here and she'll be reading or doing anything, and she'll be watching me over my shoulder, and she'll be like, that looks really boring. And I'm like, you know what? It's not boring at all. This is very exciting, and at the same time, it's also ridiculously relaxing too. And I don't have to worry about ammo count or health bars or anything like that. I just go at my own pace, and it's very relaxing.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that it does not have, well, it could, but it does not have a competitive nature to the multiplayer. There's more like a cooperative nature, which is like something that I really appreciate, that makes me want to be a part of it, because even though like I totally suck, like I'm a total noob even now that I've been spending like maybe a month.
Time out. Just so anybody's watching the video, if anybody sees the zombie cat trapped in the glass cage and is on display in this museum like setting, that's his. Or I should be pointing down. That's his. I don't even know how you did that. Or you actually had a point. You had 2 zombies in there, and I've been I don't know.
Actually, 2 zombies and an archer, but they keep disappearing. I don't know why.
Yeah, but the one that's holding the block he's been there for like 2 or 3 weeks now or something like that.
Yeah, I haven't named him yet. Maybe listeners of the podcast can name the wayfaring zombie holding the brick. But anyways, that cooperative aspect is so unlike, like let's just say, like anytime that I logged in to play Halo multiplayer, it was just like F this and end that, and like these horrible things that were just getting, like, if you're not getting reamed out in a really racist way, you're just getting destroyed unless you spend a ton, unless you spend way too much time like perfecting the skills necessary to do okay at those games. But I can totally suck ass in a cooperative online game and still feel like, yeah, I'm contributing. This is great.
You were breaking up a little bit there, but you said you could suck ass at it, but you still contribute, and you feel like you're contributing to the game.
Yeah.
Cool. Phil, yep. I'm sad that you didn't join us more within that server. I think we should have built like a second castle to let you start off in, so you weren't overwhelmed when we took you to Fort Kickass.
I was overwhelmed.
I was too, dude. I looked around. I was like, what the fuck is that? This is Gollum walking around. I'm like, how you made that? That's insane.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Did you at least get to try out the hot tub, Phil, while you were there? Did you go?
I didn't get to try that.
He didn't make it to the hot tub. He pretty much died in the netherworld, and then came out, and then I think he had to bail real quick.
You continued to show me around, and then you gave me like a bunch of goodies. You gave me armor and all this stuff, and I was feeling good. And then I go, well, where can I build my house? And you go, over here. And then you bring me to like this woods, this terrible area.
I showed him the jungle right behind the moat.
And then you're like, here's 4 torches, knock yourself out. And I was like, what? And then my game crashed.
That's right, his game crashed.
That was it.
Did you build a fort back there, by the way?
No, it crashed. That was it.
You never went back in? Because you know what's funny is, like, today, when I was recording the footage for this, I actually found a fort back there that was generated by the game. I've never seen before back there. It's got, like, booby traps and everything inside.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Someone made it.
It's totally Indiana Jones shit back there. That's kind of awesome.
Someone was sneaking on, building dungeons.
No, I think it was randomly generated by the game. It was right in our backyard. We just never saw it the entire time.
Wow.
Can I just admit to something? So the other day I've been really busy making my little gopher hole underneath the zombie zoo.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm collecting all these materials and making like walls where I just have like the gold wall, you know, the lapis wall, and so on and so on. I was like, I want a lava wall. That's it. I know. I'll dig a tunnel underneath the lava that's in the middle of town and poured it over. But the way I did it was like, oh, like I mined to right underneath right underneath Steve's daughter's house, and accidentally made like a lava tunnel that would pretty much, I don't know if it would like nuke her house, if it would like the lava stream would like melt what's above it. But I was this close to being like, this is such a great oh wait, this is a terrible idea.
Watch the video when it goes live, because it's funny that you say that. Mott's in his house, because I kind of went through everybody's houses and did like real quick walkthroughs. I didn't go rooting through anybody's stuff, but like Mott's has this ladder that goes up, and on all four sides of you is glass, and behind the glass is constantly flowing lava, and it's creepy as shit, and it looks trippy as hell. I don't even know how he put it together, but yeah, you gotta check that out. Yeah,
that's funny, Chad. That I almost would have liked to have seen like what would have happened if the house did get all burnt up or something.
He would have melted her snowman.
I don't want that on my conscience.
Oh yeah,
I'm going in. I'm doing it tonight. I'm sneaking in.
Don't do it. Don't do it. God damn.
Oh, but it's a good game. It's a good relaxing game, and it's a good game to kind of. I think the beauty of it is, like, because it's so relaxing, it's the kind of game you bounce back to in between your really hardcore games. Or for me, like, it's the game that I'll bounce back to now that if I'm in between games to review, which I won't be in between review games until like April or May or something at this point. But you know what I'm saying, you know? It's a good fallback game.
You can always go back to it, and it's kind of like even the world that my daughter and I have in our local, like our LAN game that we play. It's like we didn't play that for maybe 8 or 9 months, and then we went back to it. We're like, oh yeah, we had this going and that, and then we just picked it right up again and built our castle up even bigger. And yeah, you can always go back to it, and it's great that way.
That's awesome.
And since we have the server going, I guess, you know, maybe we can kind of get people kind of coming and going and putting in new things. And we'll have to open it up at some point to the Elder Geek people. We've been talking about it, but we haven't done it yet.
We got to figure out a system of how to manage it all first, you know.
Yeah, that could, you know.
I think everybody would be collectively sad if we found just lava poured over all of, you know, Fort Kick-Ass.
know.
Yeah,
you know, if you walked in and you're like, oh, yeah, all right, deleting this server, you know.
Yeah. Well, we can save backups. But
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it can back it up.
Oh. Well, you should back it up immediately, because like I've screwed up in so many different ways. I just didn't know. Like I went to hell. I started killing the spawners.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
You know, it's like, well, I thought you were supposed to kill those because monsters were coming out, but no, apparently no. Those were there purposefully. And then I almost killed the snowman golem because I just logged on and like I was like, what the fuck is that in my house? It's a snow. What the hell is that? I will kill it.
It's a snowman and it's got a jack-o'-lantern head.
I know. Thank goodness you were on, Randy, and talked me down. And then I noticed, oh, it's not really attacking me. Oh, somebody, oh my God, a little girl made that.
I think, you know what, Chad, I think it was you that said we were playing the one day and you were like, you were like, so what's, you know, so-and-so's deal about my daughter? And I was like, oh, she's 8. So if she's acting bizarrely, that's why. And you were like, oh, that explains so much. Because she was probably just saying like weird shit in the public chat and everything, and
it's good to have her around because she always builds the really lighthearted stuff, the colorful stuff, while as we're like, you know, castles and moats and crap like that. And she's like, here's this mural I did. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think that's somewhere on some side of a mountain. She built like a colorful, just pattern mural for some reason, just because she could. That was like her thing, where she wanted to make dyes and then dye wool.
Which is why all of our sheep are now like rainbow colored. There's like the light blue sheep and the dark blue sheep and the blue sheep, and
yeah. Cool. So yeah, we'll have to, when we have more information about that for people listening. If you want to come check out our server, we'll float that out somehow through one of the means, which leads us to the next part, which is head over to eldergeek.com and check us out on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Twitch TV. These guys have been streaming a lot of Minecraft on Twitch TV, so if you want to get kind of a more in-depth look at what's going on, you can watch them live on there. And you can check out this podcast on YouTube, where you're possibly listening to it right now. And please subscribe to our channel. That would be awesome. And if you're listening to us through some other means, like audio, like head over to the iTunes Store, the Zune Marketplace, or Stitcher Radio, and subscribe to us on there. Maybe give us a little star or 5 would be great. And maybe a little, a little review you could write, whatever.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, we'd certainly appreciate it a whole bunch. So what are we doing next time on here? What's going on?
Next time we're going to be playing Shinobi 3, and the guest on the show is going to be Saber from the Frag Dolls.
Whoa, awesome.
Yeah. But before we actually sign off, Chad, give everybody, the quick rundown. Where can they find Jumpman Podcast? Because there's actually many places. They can find it on eldergeek.com, of course, but I believe you have it on Retroware TV as well?
That's right, but we have our own website, jumpmanpodcast.com. That's where everything's archived. Update that constantly. It's where you can find our $1 ebook, Fat Vampire Slayer, which if you haven't read it, it's exactly as it sounds. It's really funny. We're on iTunes, so you can subscribe to us there. But really, if you're listening to this right now and you're on the Elder Geek YouTube site, you can just go to elder-geek.com. We're on there every single week, man.
And I'll tell you what, I'll throw up all the relevant links and everything below the YouTube description as well, because Chad was breaking up a little bit there, so we don't want people to not check out his stuff. Yeah, check out Jumpman Podcast. It's actually a ton of fun every week. It's him and his brother, and they are hilarious together. Way funnier than me and Phil. You haven't said anything in a long time, Phil. I'm sorry. Oh, and also, while we've got the subject up, check out Phil's latest video, which he just posted this week, which is the Volume 2 of his... Actually, you talk about it, Phil. It's your thing.
Yeah, Volume 2 of Read Only Memory. This is it. Read Only Memory's over. It's my series of cartoons I've been doing for GoNintendo.com, well, in association with them, and yeah, it's Volume 2. It's 4 of my shorts together, and I try to tell like a little story with them, like a little narrative about what it was like to be growing up during the NES era. So yeah, check it out. It's on Schmoozle's YouTube channel. Do it.
Awesome. And cool. For me, I'm working on Dragonborn, and then after that, it's Alien Colonial Marines, 25 games for my son, Lara Croft, Crisis 3. Basically, I'm going to be busy for a while, so subscribe to us here on YouTube, and you will see all those videos as they go live.
Yes.
Cool. Well, hey, thanks again, guys, for having me on. Thanks for listening, everybody, and yeah, peace out, I guess.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
hey,
Chad,
good having you on.
very much.
Yeah, dude.
And we will see you guys back here in 2 weeks when we're talking about Shinobi 3. Have a good night.
Yep.
See you, everybody.
Guys.